haben das Wort. Bitte schön.
Madam President, honourable members, I want to thank you for this debate and for all your opinions and views. For me, it is extremely important to hear the opinions of this House, because this is the first broad debate about if and how to regulate internet, if I simplify that. And I take several main messages. First, what I heard from vast majority of you, it's time to get to work. If we are not ambitious to become the rules makers, we will continue to be the rules takers. The rules which have been created in Silicon Valley and which are imposed on our territory in the EU. So it's time to get to work under the sense of urgency, and I very much count with the European Parliament and your approach to adopt the legislation which the Commission proposed soon enough. Also, because we see a lot of impatience at the side of some member states who want to go their own way. They want to have their own rules for internet. And I think that it was quite clear also from this debate that we want to have pan-European smart solution without any fragmentation per member states. The second main message which I got is that we are searching and working on the ideologically neutral solution, that the rules we are going to adopt should not be left or right, and that we will seek for the solution which will protect the freedom of speech as the primary principle. So these are the main messages I took from this very important debate. Coming back to the rules makers, what we are doing is the continuation of the effort of the EU to be the rule maker with global effect. We already managed to do that with the GDPR, when we said that individual people must have the right to have their identity, their privacy under control. And now we are coming with the set of, I hope, consistent rules, also consistent with GDPR and its philosophy. We are coming with Digital Services Act, Digital Markets Act, European Democracy Action Plan, and by all that we want to prove that the EU has a very healthy instinct when it comes to the risks which we see on internet and which can cause big harm to our societies. What I heard from many of you was that the digital big tech grabbed too much power and too little responsibility. I would add, I agree with that. The platforms captured a lot of public space. I sometimes say that they privatized the public space. And this is the public space without any public scrutiny whatsoever. So this is also our task to demand more transparency and more accountability, because what's happening online is heavily influencing the real life. I think it was Mr. Tudorache who said that there is no difference between online and offline, that it's one world. I tend to agree with that. On the other hand, it's quite easy to blame the internet and platforms for all our troubles. I think that we should really take a lesson from what happened in the US at the beginning of January. The platforms were the transmitters of the messages of the former President Trump, who was inciting violence, who was fanatizing the crowd, who then invaded Capitol, and there were victims, there were dead people. So I think this is also a very strong call on all of us who have influence on public opinion and on the reaction of our society to be more responsible and to be aware that the social media can be the weapon, dangerous weapon in our hands. And I am not calling on self-censoring of the politicians. I am calling on more responsibility and awareness of the consequences when we use these social platforms and social media. I would like to recommend to read Madeleine Albright's book, which is called Fascism. She speaks about social media as a weapon when it is used by bad people, when it appears in bad hands. Let me react on several comments regarding disinformation in COVID time. I'm sure you know that the Commission has an agreement with the big tech to do more against disinformation. So it's not true that they have just started now. And I appreciate the recent announcement of Facebook that they want to do more against the disinformation relating to vaccination. The agreement is simple. I wanted them to enable more space for the information from authorities, from health authorities, from those who are responsible for the communication and for providing the people with trustworthy and evidence-based information. And for the health sector, I think there is a very clear message. If you do not occupy the space, it will be occupied by disinformation. And the ministers of health are aware of that and they do their best. I have to appraise them for everything they are doing in this very difficult moment and crisis. And they are doing their best to occupy the space with reliable information. The thing is that the people have to trust the information provided by the health authorities. Fight against disinformation also contains what we offer or what we propose, contains fact-checking. Honourable members, let me do it now. I have to react on Mr. Haider, who said that the EU has not invested anything into the development and production of vaccination. This is fake news. And I think that if something like that is said, it's also our obligation to come with the facts and deny that. I want to also react, because we speak here about the freedom of speech. I want to react on those who were mentioning the situation in Poland. I think we all have seen the black screens. The black screens are quite telling. I think they are screaming. Today's expression of protest of the media in Poland, expressed in black screens, might become tomorrow sad everyday reality. We need to protect the freedom of speech also by supporting independent media, not by suppressing them with additional financial burdens. It doesn't apply only to Poland. We have recommended many times the member states that they should support also financially media who are also the front runners in the COVID crisis. Media which are already were before COVID crisis under big financial distress because the business model has changed brutally. The money from advertisers is being shifted to the online sphere, which we keep speaking about today. And so we need to guarantee that the media can do their job, because they have a very important role in our democratic societies. So, coming back to the draft law, which we are now analysing, I have to say that we always advise the member states to support media, as I said, but coming to the law, we are aware of the draft law and we need to look more into it in details. We expect member states to ensure that their fiscal or other policies will not affect the commitment of ensuring a free, independent and diverse media ecosystem. And I have to add that about the legislative process, which is up and ongoing in Poland, that it is important to consult such legislation also with media sector. And I understand from the recent information from Poland that this is foreseen. I am sorry, I probably was longer than I wanted to be, but I really wanted to react on many of your very important opinions which I heard today. Thank you very much.
It's an important topic, so we are very happy that you really discuss with us, and we come